I've never thought about watching a movie on YouTube. I've always thought of YouTube as a social media more than a quote-unquote streaming service, so paying to watch a movie on YouTube just never sounded right to me. I've paid so little attention to the feature that I didn't even know that YouTube has movies on it that you could watch for completely free, under the restriction of having to watch a few ads here and there. I only discovered it after scrolling down my homepage too far and seeing the list of free movies tucked neatly away at the bottom. They're mostly B-grade action movies, but there was one that caught my eye. A documentary about the hit Battle Royale money-printing video game, Fortnite. Now, some of you may already know this, but Fortnite is the only Battle Royale I like, and one of the only competitive multiplayer games that I actually enjoy. While I'm not completely tuned into the meta, and I wouldn't even say I'm good at it, I still have fun seeing all the crazy new gameplay elements that come with each season. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to watch the Fortnite documentary and see if it's any good. I mean, it's free, I've got nothing to lose. Now before we drop into the cinematic masterpiece known as Fortnite Build, Battle, Survive, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I upload videos discussing video games or video game related things, so if that interests you or retrospectives interest you, join our community. Also, if you like variety gaming content, check out my second channel. I play a bunch of games, react to stuff, all kinds of different things that might interest you. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the movie. I will admit I didn't have any expectations going into the movie, and yet after the 56-minute runtime, I can safely say I was still disappointed. Even if the movie features people involved in the gaming space, it feels like nobody working on this thing is or was invested in the Fortnite scene, resulting in a really weird angle that the documentary takes on its subject matter. The film revolves around the interviews of a handful of people. The most featured are these two Twitch streamers who outright say they stream variety, an esports caster, and the CEO of Team Secret, an esports organization. They do feature a pro player for Team Secret, but he has maybe 30 seconds of screen time and really only mentions that he used to play Counter-Strike. The movie starts off with all these voice lines of people saying how awesome and unique the game is, but as you delve deeper into the documentary, it veers off into different topics that don't really have to do with Fortnite, but I'll get to that in a second. After the intro of people praising Fortnite, the documentary has a segment where various people being interviewed explain what the game is and its history prior to the introduction of the Battle Royale. There's a bit of talk about its rise to fame, but it's more about the impact the game had on popular culture rather than the growth in popularity. They say it like, then the Battle Royale dropped and the rest is history, instead of actually explaining what happened to cause the game's player base to skyrocket. Although at the same time, to pinpoint what exactly caused the game to explode in popularity is pretty subjective. One person could say that the decline in content from PUBG led to people jumping to other battle royales, and Fortnite just happened to be everyone's second choice. Personally, I think it was the Infinity Ward collaboration that the game had early on in its life, and maybe someone else will have their own idea on why the game blew up. There isn't really a definitive answer, which is why I don't really blame the documentary for not really discussing it. But although they didn't mention a core cause of the game's rise in popularity, they also didn't discuss things like the Infinity Ward collaboration. They skipped over a lot of the history that the game has and just jumped right into the game being popular and discussed how a bunch of athletes and musicians tried the game out. And yes, I recognize that this documentary was made while the game was in its first chapter, but there were still plenty of milestones that the game had in terms of collaborations and branching out into the more public sphere, such as NFL skins and a collaboration to promote Wreck-It Ralph. I'd say the first 15 minutes are the most on-target content of the documentary. Once you hit the 20-minute mark, the two variety streamers start discussing what it's like to be live streamers, and then about 30 minutes in, the esports CEO almost starts promoting his own organization, and after that, we get a look at what it's like to be an esports player. But none of this really has to directly do with Fortnite. The documentary slowly kind of becomes a look into the creative and competitive gaming space, rather than a deep dive into one of the most popular games of all time. And I don't think it has anything to do with the people being interviewed, by the way. I think this is really a matter of the people making this documentary not really knowing the scope of what they're trying to make. It's probably not wrong to assume that they made it seem like it was about Fortnite just to get in on the buzzword. By the end of the film, they do start to discuss the competitive side of Fortnite, whether it's discussing how Epic at the time was working on improving the esports scene, or talking about the actual competitive edge that the game has and what makes it competitive. But other than that, this documentary kind of beats around the bush and doesn't exactly cover the base material all too much. I also think that Fortnite is probably not the best game to do a documentary on. Fortnite is a game that changes its coat of paint every 4 months, with new gameplay elements that completely switch up the way people play. This causes the documentary to be really dated and just a weird watch. Had they done one on Counter-Strike, a game that largely hasn't changed for 20 years, I feel like it would be a genuine look into the game. But with a game that changes as much as Fortnite does, you're seeing a version of the game that doesn't really exist anymore, and in my opinion, it's really awkward.